Hi, my name is Aya, you're watching Aya Reads, and this is going to be my vlog of reading The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. Right now, as I'm filming this intro, this book has not come out yet, but I am very, very excited to read it, and I have already pre-ordered it, so I cannot wait to get to it. And as always with these vlogs, they're mostly going to be non-spoiler, but since this video, I don't want it to just be 3 minutes long, there might be some mild plot things that I'll touch on, but no actual spoilers, no major spoilers at all. If I do want to spoil the book, it will be towards the end of the video, and there will be clear spoiler tags so you know that you can dip out if you've not read this book yet. For one, I'm very excited to read it, and let's cue to the vlog. Alright, I'm on page 86 of The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. And the reason I'm doing this update now is because I'm leaving in like 10 minutes to go to Rotterdam, which that commute will be about an hour and a half to maybe even 2 hours, and then also back. So I have about like at least 3 hours of commute. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of reading. So I didn't want to do the first update when I got back because I'd be close to finishing. This video also goes up today, so I need to do a lot of reading still. But anyway, this is another, as I think I said this in my intro, but anyway, that this is another Dramione author turned traditional published book, because this is actually not this wasn't a fan fiction first. So this book, you follow Osric Mordaunt, and he's the member of the Faerun Order of Assassins. And something is wrong with his magic, which will end up killing him if it isn't cured. And nobody can really cure him. And then, really in the first chapter, the physicians that see him say he only has one chance, and that is to get Orianne Fairhim to help him. And she is a scientist and bastion of moral good, and she's in the order of healers basically. And these two orders don't really interact, and they are kind of like enemy orders, because she is the paragon of good, she's a healer, whereas he kills people for a living. But he also knows that she is trying to get funding for this pox that has been killing the poor children in the country. And nobody's really willing to fund her research because they don't really care about the poor, basically. So he offers, when she first tells him, no, I have no interest in helping you, he tells her that he's willing to make a bargain, that he would be willing to put in like 20 million of whatever currency they have to help her in the research of fighting this pox. And her mentor and her really don't have any other option but to help him. He's in the background trying to scheme, thinking that if she does cure him, he might steal that money back. And this is really his last option, because if she can't manage to help him, then he will for sure die. But traditional medicine, or in their world, what is traditional, will not be helping him. So they have to figure out they have to do a lot of trial and error to find whatever works for him. So far, am really, really enjoying it, because the banter between these two is top notch. Like, I have laughed out loud a lot of times throughout this book, and I tend to not, like, that doesn't really happen to me a lot, but already I think I've laughed out loud like 10 times. Even though I'm only 25% of the way through. I'm definitely giggling and kicking my feet a lot while reading this book. I think these two are great. This is also a STEM romance, so I do think, because she's definitely a scientist, and even though, yes, there are some nonsensical words in here, and obviously it is linked to their magic, a lot is based on a hypothesis, and then you do some research, and it does seem like that. I have done research in my life, so I do know how that works. I think Brigitte Knightley definitely also is a STEM girly. So if you like Ali Hazelwood and you like Romantasy, I think you might really like this one, because it has a lot of those aspects in here, considering, like I said, she's definitely in STEM. I do have to say, the first chapter, I was really confused because everything was just thrown at you. I really had to take the time to write down all the terms I didn't I didn't know, and then look up at the glossary and at the orders to see, okay, what does that mean? But once I did that, it did become definitely easier for me. So I would say if you started this book and you're really struggling with the first chapter, take the time to really write out everything you don't understand, and I can assure you that either in the glossary or towards the back of the book will be an explanation. I wish she would have explained a little bit in the first part, but I mean, a part of me does like how we're like thrown in right away and we just have to figure it out as we go. Like, she's not really holding your hand throughout this book. Yeah, like the scene I just read was them in like a brothel, and I laughed so much. Like, I just like, and like I said, it was just so funny. Like, I think Brigitte Knightley has a great sense of humor, and like I really like their banter. Like, she gives as good as she gets, and him too. Like, I just like how fast and sharp both of them are, and how both of them are arrogant in different ways. Like, he knows that he's very good looking, and he knows that he can charm any girl, except for Oriane, of course. And she knows that she's very capable, she's very smart, and she's very arrogant about that too. So I tend to like these characters that know their strengths. And I think these two definitely do. I am very interested to see, however, how this definitely hate to love right now. Like, they don't like each other, but they are reluctant allies. So I'm very interested to see how that will develop into an actual romance, because so far these two have nothing in common, even though both of them are pretty smart. And also, like, they are definitely the opposite. Like, their worldview is different, because I mean, his world revolves around killing and hers revolves around healing, you know. But I mean, we have had other romances that do have like a healer and a killer, basically, but I'm very much enjoying it, and I would definitely am interested to read more by her and go back and read her fan fictions, because if they're as funny as this one, I think I will definitely love them. I think I'm gonna leave it here for now. My next update will be definitely longer, but I need to get going. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll talk to you either when I finish this book or when I'm back and do have some thoughts. So talk to you later. Look what arrived today. This is such a beautiful book. Like, I am so impressed. This is the end papers, and this is the naked hardback. It's so beautiful. I'm so glad I own it, because I really enjoyed this book. I am gonna give it 4.5 stars. Yes, because my first update was so rushed, I did want to talk about the world a bit. So this is the map. As you can see, that is definitely the UK, but it has like different names, like it's like different countries within. And it seems like this is like, yes, it's a fantasy world, but very much connected to the UK as it is today. And like, it seems like it's like a mix between a fantasy world, but also old England, I guess. As you can tell by the explanation, the world building was lacking for me, and that is why I gave it 4.5 stars. I feel like she could have done more with the world building. This is not a long book. Let me see. It has 360 pages. And I feel like she could have just done a bit more with the world building and like the magic building, I guess, because to me, I went along with it because I was enjoying the book so much. I was enjoying their banter so much, and I was enjoying their back and forth so much. And I did enjoy the plot. I was definitely enjoying their experiments to see how he could be healed. And also there was another side plot about this pox that was infecting these children, the pox that he gave money to bribe her into helping him. So there was like a lot going on that I was very interested in. So I just bypassed the things I just didn't understand. Also, since this is like an old England type of world, there were a lot of words that I was like, what does that even mean? But like, because of context clues, and like I said, because I was enjoying everything else, I let that slide, whereas usually I don't think I would have. And speaking of England, this book is very British. Like, I don't know if Brigitte Knightley is British, but you would think that she is. I don't know. Like, if there are any British people watching, let me know if... I mean, but like I said, it's not modern day. Well, I mean, technically, I don't know. Like, it is, like, a lot is, like, olden day English, I guess. but like the humor was very British to me. But like it is like vulgar humor, I guess. There's like lots of cocks and ball jokes and anus jokes and stuff like that. But I found that so hilarious. And I would, because it's so British, I would highly recommend the audiobook. It is dual narrated, but both audiobook narrators, they have British accents, and they have like different, like there's an Irish accent in there, a Scottish accent. Because I actually started it without the audiobook and I was still finding it funny, but listening to it at the same time made it even more funny. So I think if you're struggling with it, I would say pick up the audiobook, because especially if you're not British, not that I'm British, but I think it will help with like the jokes and stuff. I did enjoy both characters. Like I said, I think both of them are very capable in what, like in their field, and I do tend to like capable characters. I just do. He, like from the beginning, I knew that there was more to his story than him just like being good at killing, I guess. He does reveal a bit about himself. I wish we could have gotten to know a little bit more. Hopefully we'll get that in book 2. So this is going to be a duology. And he also rescues dogs. Stop it. Like an animal lover, I am already I'm partial to, of course. I look pale like Draco. Anyway, so of course I like him. I like how, like, he seems to fall first. And he is very put off by that. Like, he doesn't want to at all. Like, he fights it at every turn. And there's actually one hot scene. So there is like, there's one kissing scene in here and they didn't have sex at all. That will definitely, hopefully, will be the case in book 2. But there's one scene where he's in her bed and she's sleeping on the couch and he jacks himself off while looking at her. That was so hot. Oh my god. And he was like, while he was doing it, he was hating himself, and I was eating that up. It was like my catnip. I just enjoyed every single moment of that scene. Also, I really love the moments when, so he's used to her obviously in a certain way, like he's used to her looking like this in her white outfit and her hair in a bun. So anytime he sees her like in a different outfit or in like a different way, he is so shocked and shocked at his reactions, because there's a scene in here where she goes undercover in a brothel and he didn't think that she would be there, and like his jaw was on the floor, and I enjoyed every single second of that. Orianne I also really liked. I liked her wit. I liked how quick she was. I liked her sense of humor. And I also enjoy her character development in here, because in the beginning she's definitely like uptight and like very black and white, and like she's definitely like a paragon of good, and anything else, like she's very judgy. And I like how in this book, obviously not just like because of Osric, but also because of things that happened, she learns that maybe the world is not so black and white, and I tend to enjoy that. Also, she's very smart. Like, she's definitely like a STEM girly, and I enjoy that, of course. One thing I do wish was, hopefully we'll get that in book 2, but I wish we gotten more of her and her 2 friends. And I also really want to know more about her past, because it seems like she has an ex-girlfriend who burned her, and I don't know anything about that. So I wish we could have gotten to know more about that. So I want more of Orianne with her friends, and also to learn more about her past. But same is true for Osric. Osric doesn't really have any friends, but at least he has like his, what's her name? Mrs. Parson. I tend to really enjoy when characters interact with other people, not just with the love interest. But like I said, this is a duology, so I'm interested to see how that all will develop. Like I said, Orianne seems to be bisexual, but it seems like Osric is too. But I don't know if I can classify it like that. I think like it feels like in this world, it's like sexuality definitely is very fluid. Like it doesn't matter. From what I've read, it doesn't seem like there's any labels. Like Osric flirts with like anybody, and Orianne, like I said, has an ex-girlfriend. Her 2 friends who are girls, they are a couple. So I do like that representation of queerness just being there, and it not be anything to be commented on, even though I'm doing that, of course, in this review. As I've said, especially in my first update, this book was hilarious. Like, I laughed out loud a lot throughout this book. Like, I don't think, like, I think this is the funniest book I've read this year. I do have to say the humor is very particular. Like I said, it's like ass and tits and cock and twat and stuff like that. So like I can confidently say that if it's not your type of humor, or if you don't like the humor, you will not like this book because it's chock full of it. So I would say if you're not vibing, try the audiobook. And if you're still not vibing and you think the humor is cringe and it's just not your type of humor, then this book will just not be for you, because it's very particular and it's very central, I guess, to the story, because it's like in every scene there is like a dirty joke, I guess. So yeah, I had a great time. I loved it very much and I would highly recommend it, but keep the caveats in mind. I would say if you can get your hands on a sample, whether that be, although I don't think the audiobook sample works, because since the first chapters are the glossary and the content notes, you only get like the first couple of pages, so you won't really, I would say try the ebook sample and see if the sense of humor is for you and if it's like you like the writing style, because then I would recommend it. I also really enjoyed Brigitte Knightley's writing style, I have to say. Like, there were some lines that I just really loved, and especially towards the end when it was clear that they were falling for each other and how they catastrophized that. The way she spoke about that, I really enjoyed. Like, the way she wrote that, I really enjoyed. Like, for example, one line, she was a thing between desire and impossibility. I love that line. Let me see if I highlighted anything else. Oh yeah, okay. So, he hadn't paid attention. He had been stupid. Gods, so stupid. He no longer owned his heart. The thief was unconscious of her crime. Anyway, I just love it. Okay, let me just leave it at that. 4.5 stars. I'm very much looking forward to book 2. One thing I forgot to mention is, honestly, like, if I compare it to Rose in Chains, for example, I don't really want to compare all the fan fictions if I can help it, but I felt like that was clear. I don't know. I feel like with this book, it's not that clear that it was originally a Harry Potter fan fiction. I think if you go into it not knowing that, I don't think you would connect the dots. And I think even if somebody tells you, oh yeah, this is a Dramione fan fiction, you're like, oh, okay. Whereas I feel like, and yes, like for example, some of the magic things, some things are similar, like they have something that is very similar to a Patronus. But other than that, it's not that clear. Whereas I feel like, for example, like said in Rose in Chains, once you know, then there's a lot of things that are similar. But I mean, I guess that's true for a lot of fan fictions. Like, obviously, it would depend on where your fan fiction is set. I know there are Dramione fan fictions that are like in contemporary settings. So just came here to say that. So those were my thoughts on The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Brigitte Knightley. If you've read this book, leave all your thoughts in the comments below. And I would especially be interested if you have read like Draco and the Mortifying Ordeal of Being in Love. I'm pretty sure that's the same author. If you read that fan fiction, did you enjoy this or not? Leave all your thoughts down below. If you want to say that you were here, but you don't actually want to leave me a comment, leave me either a pink heart emoji, a knife emoji, or some sort of like doctor or healing emoji. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving a like if you did. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.